Today, I'm chatting with Matthew Shannon, who is the HR Technology Relations Lead at Deloitte. I caught one of Matthew's sessions at HR Tech this year on Agentic AI, and I'm excited to dive into that topic today. Matthew, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, Joel, appreciate the invitation to join today's HR Snacks conversation.
So it seems like you've had a busy fall conference season. I saw you at HR Tech. I noticed recently you were at Gartner's Reimagine HR event. There's a ton of folks across the industry that have these really hectic fall travel seasons. Do you have any travel hacks that you've picked up along the way that you find are really helpful for that heavy travel schedule?
So when I travel, I try to be as streamlined as possible in terms of digital mobile tickets, but also in what I bring and wear. So I'm pretty much a uniform dresser when I travel. If I'm on plane, it's dark colors, it's comfy clothes. And then when it's at events, it's usually the same solid colored outfit that I wear from event to event, and just switch out one or two aspects like the underlying shirt and details there.
As I mentioned in the open, you spoke about agentic AI and multi-agent systems at HR Tech. So can you explain the AI agent model and how that differs from standard LLM usage through a system like ChatGPT that a lot of people are comfortable with and use on a daily basis?
It's something that every large HCM system launched their own version of, and every customer needs to figure out what in the world are they talking about when they talk about agents and AI. So to your question on qualifying the difference between large language models, you had mentioned ChatGPT as the most familiar one. While traditional large language models are great at generating text-based responses to prompts, AI agents take that a step further and can embed the ability to reason, break down requests into tasks, and then sequentially execute those tasks. So we're talking about agents, we're talking about autonomous agency to be able to execute tasks in an informed manner. I think an easy way to go beyond the explanation is to talk about an example. And as we're discussing travel plans, one thing we all go through with business travel is expense reports. So we see in systems today, expense management platforms, they can help autonomously itemize bills, but that still requires you to submit your receipts, submit your hotel portfolio. A more agentic AI approach would be the moment a bill is charged to my credit card, I might get a response to take a photo of my receipt at dinner. And then that receipt can then be uploaded to the system, itemized, reconciled against both the cost of the meal and a tip that I added, and then prepared in my expense report once I add everything else to it from my trip is over, and then ready for submission. So a more streamlined process that execute tasks without having to have each individual task started by a human.
I need that AI agent. That sounds so helpful.
Yep, that's the dream.
So as you mentioned, like you have providers that you're meeting with and doing briefings with, throughout the year. How are you seeing agentic AI being implemented across the HR technology landscape?
All the HCM systems have their own version of agents that they've launched. And I think the most easily referenceable use case in the HR space is going to be around recruiting. We've seen automation in specific sub-processes of the recruitment landscape, from sourcing to candidate assessments and review. Agentic takes all of those and puts them in sequential order. So it can sift through large volumes of submitted resumes, augment those with outreach to and understanding of passive candidates that might also fit the job qualifications. It can help reconcile issues if something's not submitted right on an application form, so you're not missing out on a candidate because of a candidate error. And then it can take all of those submissions, provide an assessment of who the top candidates are to a recruiter, and then once the human recruiter gets to prioritize who they want to meet with, take all the next action steps of reaching out to the candidate in an automated campaign, scheduling interviews, likely rescheduling interviews because timing for events change. And then as part of the preparation for the interviewers that will be working with that candidate, give them insights from their resume, from the previous conversations that they've had to make that process even more streamlined.
AI is moving at such a fast pace, right? It was like 6 months ago that prompt engineering was like the next big thing that everyone's going to need to learn how to do to survive in this age of AI and thrive. And now it's not even really a thing anymore, that important. Yep. So what do you see as being, next on the horizon as like the next wave of AI innovation?
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on with the 6-month cadence of things. It's something where at Deloitte, we do a quarterly state of generative AI in the enterprise report. And I think that's even going to become outdated in terms of the titling. But from the latest results of that survey, we've seen that of the organizations that have already deployed generative capabilities, a quarter of them today are experimenting with Agentic, as we're talking about. That number is expected to be 50% of organizations by 2027. So what's going to happen across the duration of that time as well in terms of the innovations of technology? Well, I think it's short-term and long-term. On the short term, we're going to certainly see the technology become more intuitive to humans and interacting with humans. Today, most of this is within type-based prompts. So we're going to start to see more ways to interact in natural conversation, like we're talking audibly today, and have that be responded to by systems, not just in readable text, but also in audible text as well. So you can hear, and it's not just a computer sounding voice, but it's really an inflection of tone, accent, emotion as well. So we'll start to see that and have it feel more natural and human in interacting with technology. So key watch-outs we think about when talking to clients is think about your organizational policies and then the more broad rules and regulations around using artificial intelligence in talent processes. There's a lot of states, 45, that are doing things from a regulatory standpoint around artificial intelligence today. Those are things that are going to be important to track based on where you're operating. And that includes global geographies as well. So as much as artificial intelligence usage today seems complex, we see this as extensions of the procurement process, taking longer to buy AI tools than traditional HR solutions. And that's something that's going to be increasingly focused in terms of what we're bringing into organizations and how we're using it in the future.